Welcome, everybody, to the #1 daily Bitcoin podcast. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin price hits $26,600. Also, brand new all-time high hash rate has just come in. We'll be discussing this, as well as a $50,000 Bitcoin price target, as top analyst says it's unavoidable. We'll also be discussing Max Keiser making a bold claim. He says, or I should say prediction, I am calling it, mortgage rates will break the 1981 high of 18.63%. We'll also be discussing the Bitcoin short-term hodlers panic amid nearly 100% in unrealized losses. We'll also be discussing U.S. anti-CBDC bill moves a step closer to passing. That's what I'm talking about. We'll also be sharing Tether USDT acquires a stake in Bitcoin miner, Northern Data, hinting at an AI collaboration. Let's go. I'll also be sharing with you Bitcoin's next big move up, which will be explosive, according to top crypto analysts. But as always, there is a catch. I'll also be sharing the latest prediction from Jack Dorsey, the Strike CEO. He says the Bitcoin price is heading to $1 million. He also recently shared that Western Union can't allow me to pay for my coffee. Visa won't allow me to remit money. Lightning does both and better and open and global. And so you guys come play on my court and let's see who can develop the best experience for the consumer, because I bet all of my life I can build a better experience on the Lightning Network than Jamie Dimon. Let's freaking go. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. And a quick reminder, if you're new to the channel, I highly recommend to smash that subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And to help out with the YouTube algorithm, please smash that like button as it helps out tremendously. We also have a Clips channel, which can be found at clips.cryptonewsalerts.net, where I'm uploading daily shorts and clips taken from this live stream. We just crossed 300 subs, and again, if you want to receive those, they're exclusive on the Clips channel. And with all that being shared, welcome everyone just joining us. This is pod episode number 1408. I'm your host, JV. Today is September 21st, and we all know 21 is a very special number with Bitcoin, knowing there is a 21 million finite limited supply. And as usual, we have lots to cover. Welcome to everyone in our live chat. Make sure to say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. Let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do here each and every day. We can see the entire crypto market correcting back in the red, with Bitcoin hanging on to $26,600. And checking out coin market cap, we're barely sitting above that $1 trillion milestone, with roughly 30 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with Bitcoin dominance also stagnant at 49.2%, with the Ether dominance back on the decline at 18.1%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we have IMX up 23%, trading above 66 cents, followed by Terra Classic up 4%, trading at still virtually nothing, followed by FXS up 3%, trading at $5.39. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past week, we also have IMX leading this pack up 23%, along with Luna Classic, as the majority of the alts are currently correcting and in the red. I mean, it is what it is. We are in September after all, as Dankness pointed out in the live chat. And as you can see on the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 47, same as yesterday, neutral. Last week was a 45 in fear, and last month also a 37 in fear. So there you have it. How do you think we're likely to end this September before October next month, a couple of weeks out? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below, and at the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. Now let's discuss the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts and what is popping for the King Crypto. Bitcoin slipped from 27,000 on September 21st as the dust settled on the U.S. macroeconomic events. As you can see here in the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart, we have data from Cointelegraph and TradingView showed Bitcoin price strength waning prior to the Wall Street opening, down 1.5% on the day. Bitcoin delivered a cool reaction to the Fed's interest rate pause, and Chairman Jerome Powell's speech and press conference likewise failed to spark major volatility. But contrary to the expectations of many, the Bitcoin price action acted as if no catalysts were present at all. In fact, later the news that payouts to creditors, the defunct exchange Mt. Gox, had been delayed by another year, also went unnoticed by the markets. The Fed's announcement of the rate pause caught exactly no one by surprise. Price is still in the same spot, but at least now we don't have FOMC hanging over our heads, range bound until proven otherwise. Now, this analyst named Jelly is underlying the longer-term roadmap remaining bullish, suggesting an exit higher from the current structure in play for more than a year was still possible. As he shared here on X, Bitcoin is forming a massive cup and handle pattern below 30 Gs. Some argue it is not a valid pattern, while others anticipate a big breakout. I expect the higher prices. What do you think? Let me know in the chat, fam. And continuing, we had fellow analyst Crypto Tony who shared the following. So my plan was to long while we remained above 26.8, and thus far that is what we are doing. So certainly came down a bit, so up that the bulls now to the end of this week on the bullish high. And now let's take a look at the Bitcoin monthly close as we are entering the latter end of the month. Covering the impetus for the post-Fed drop, trader Crypto Ed suggests that the prior tap of the month-to-date highs could be a cause for suspicion, as he shares here. Bitcoin, in my recent updates, I shared my feeling that something was off with this recent rise to 27.5. And he also mentioned spot, which you can see in this chart in the white, is offloading here, which may be a warning. And then we had crypto analyst Rec Capital share Bitcoin bearish fractal update, which he is anticipating the Bitcoin price going down to $20,500 before rising back up, as he shares here. Now Bitcoin is rejecting from the same level, 27,150, which is acting as resistance for the time being. So there you have it. I also like to mention that the Bitcoin hash rate hit another record high. I don't even know how to pronounce the number, but we're talking about 500 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commas. That is insanity. That means 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20 zeros after the 5. However we would pronounce that is beyond my imagination, but you can just see this chart says everything you need to know. So what is that? 500 quadrillion exahashes per second, something outrageous like that, as we continue to make new all-time highs. And Titan of Crypto shared a very bold prediction. He wrote, $50,000 Bitcoin is unavoidable. The highest point Tenkan reached during the previous bear cycle market downtrend was the level Bitcoin price ended up being attracted to afterwards, as he shares here. The first cycle, $16 was inevitable. Second cycle, $750 was unpreventable. And the third cycle, $12,600 was inacceptable. Now, fourth cycle, $50,000 is unavoidable. Don't get trapped in the current lower time frame Bitcoin price action. It'll soon be a thing of the past. And what a great thought there. Now, Max Kaiser, regarding the interest rates, he shared that I am calling it the mortgage rates will break the 1981 high of 18.63%. Now, could you imagine going to buy a house and having a mortgage rate paying interest 18.63%? Virtually means housing is going to soon become unaffordable. And as mentioned here in the KBC letter, the average interest rate on a 30-year mortgage rises 7.5%, its highest since December of 2000, with interest rate cuts now no longer expected until September 2024. It is likely we see 8% mortgages soon, and Max is saying 8%, more like 18%. What's your thoughts, fam? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now let's break down our next story of the day, which is the short-term hodlers in straight up panic mode. Here we go. And shout out to everyone just joining us in the live show. Bitcoin speculators are in panic mode, as nearly all of them are in the red, according to the latest research from the Week on Chain, which is Glassnode Analytics platform, revealing 97.5% unrealized losses amongst the Bitcoin short-term hodlers. Where are my long-term hodlers at? Make some noise. Now, the Bitcoin price action in the recent months tested the resolve of investors, but none more than those who bought Bitcoin over the past 3 months. Short-term hodlers, which correspond to entities holding coins for 155 days or less, which is ultimately 30, 60, 90, 120, 5 months or less, fam. And as Glassnode notes, September 17th, the cost basis for those spending Bitcoin is now $28,000, around 5% above the current spot price action. So as part of the research, the firm separated the short-term hodler cohort into hodlers and spenders, discovering a relationship between abrupt changes in implied, which is unrealized profitability, and the shift in spending by short-term hodlers' realized profitability. The result, it says, is what is called the non-trivial change in sentiment. From this perspective, we can see that the cost basis of the short-term hodlers who are spending fell below the cost basis of hodlers as the market sold off from 29 to 26,000 in mid-August, according to the week on chain. This suggests a degree of panic and negative sentiment has taken hold in the near term. I'd say the short-term hodlers are always going to be the biggest losers because they have the weakest hands. We say that, paper hands, right? Now, the findings chime with the overall sense of caution amongst Bitcoin traders and analysts, with many predicting a test of lower levels still yet to come. And an opinion is far from unanimous as optimists eye a change of fortunes for the Bitcoin price performance beginning in Q4. And as reported earlier in the week, classic sentiment gauge, the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, remains only modestly bearish at the current levels, but nonetheless, for the short-term hodlers, the threat of permanent loss appears to feel all too real. Glassnode analysts unveiled a trend confidence metric which subtracts the spender cost basis from the hodler cost basis and divides by the Bitcoin price. Quoting them here, the Bitcoin market is experiencing a non-trivial shift in sentiment, with almost all the short-term hodlers now underwater on their supply. They also share this had resulted in a negative shift in sentiment, with investors spending now having a lower cost basis than the rest of the cohort. This suggests a degree of panic is dominating this group, which is the first time since the FTX collapse, which we witnessed in last year. So there you have it, fam. As I mention and stress oftentimes here on the show, Bitcoin is not get rich quick. If you're going to be an investor in the King crypto, make sure it's for the long haul, as all investors of Bitcoin that have been hodling for 4 years or longer are in the green. Naturally, the short-term hodlers tend to get wrecked, which we just outlined here in this report. Now let's break down our next story of the day and discuss the anti-CBDC bill. As you know, central bank digital currencies are the enslavement of humanity, programmable money by the central banks. They could put an expiration date on it. They can control what you can purchase and what you cannot. So it's good to see Congress moving forward with this bill. Let's break this down. The CBDC, Anti-Surveillance State Act, aimed at preventing unelected bureaucrats in Washington from issuing a central bank digital currency, has taken one step further in its procedural journey after it passed the House Financial Service Committee. According to the press release distributed by the bill's author, Representative Tom Emmer, September 20th, the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act was passed out of the committee and favorably reported to the House floor. That means the bill will next face a congressional vote. Emmer stressed that the bill had already gained the support of 60 members in Congress. So congratulations if you're one of those 60 Congress members. Thanks for standing up for the people of the United States. In his remarks regarding the committee's decision, Emmer once again emphasized the dangers of state control over currency and its incompatibility with American values. Quoting Emmer here, American values. This is what the future global digital economy needs. If not open, permissionless, and private, just like cash, a central bank digital currency is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. Preach. And again, much respect to Emmer for calling them out. Emmer and 49 original co-sponsors reintroduced the CBDC, Anti-Surveillance State Act, in the United States House of Representatives September 14th, roughly a week ago. It was first formally introduced to Congress in February of 2023. The bill contains provisions that would prevent the Fed from issuing a CBDC to individuals and bar the Fed from utilizing any CBDC for the purpose of implementing monetary policy. In his recent interview, Emmer called digital assets a sleeper issue in U.S. politics, both at the state and federal levels. And according to Emmer, there is a generational divide in the U.S., which residents can push back on the policies that potentially inhibit the digital space, and in doing so, flush out technologically ignorant lawmakers. So there you have it, fam. We've been preaching here on the show for quite some time. Just say no to CBDCs. And as we all know, Bitcoin is the antidote to the central bank digital currencies, because it's decentralized, it's not issued or controlled by central bankers or politicians, and it's incorruptible because the mathematics of the code, there is a finite limited supply, whereas with a central bank digital currency, it's nothing different than the digital form of the dollar, only that it's programmable, and that's not a good look, obviously, as we can't trust the central bankers who put us in this mess to begin with. So all our faith is in Satoshi and Bitcoin, which will continue as just the escape valve out of the matrix. And with that being shared, fam, now let's discuss the latest regarding Tether, USDT, and their most recent acquisition. And they may be implementing some artificial intelligence here in the future. So let's break this down. As we know, it's the largest stablecoin in the world. The firm behind stablecoin Tether invested in an undisclosed amount of German-based crypto miner Northern Data Group in a move backing artificial intelligence initiatives. In a September 21st blog post, Tether said the strategic investment into Northern Data through Tether Group company, the Moon, what a cool name, the Moon, was intended to demonstrate its determination to support emerging tech, hinting at collaborations involving AI, which is artificial intelligence, peer-to-peer communications, and data storage solutions. The company denied a report from Forbes regarding a $420 million investment. Well, happy 420 either way, fam, but did not specify the exact amount when reached for a comment. Now, Cointelegraph reached out, but did not receive a response at this time. Northern Data announced in July it had reached an agreement with Tether to acquire the Moon, a deal in which the stablecoin issuer agreed to capitalize the Moon prior to completion of the acquisition with the funds needed to acquire the latest generational GPU hardware. Tether Chief Technology Officer Paolo described the investment as a fresh venture into the new technological frontiers. As Tether announced here on X, Tether makes strategic investment into Northern Data Group, set to become the biggest independent AI player in Europe. Let's freaking go. Now, Tether claimed the investment was separate from its reserves and would not impact the customer funds. The firm previously faced legal action in the U.S. following accusations it had not been fully transparent about its reserves, which we know is nothing more than FUD, resulting in millions of dollars of fines and orders to provide reports on USDT's backing. And as the largest stablecoin issuer by market cap at more than $83 billion, Tether had made many investments globally, from partnering with Crypton Market in Argentina to signing a memorandum of understanding how to develop peer-to-peer infrastructure with the government of Georgia. And in August, Paolo revealed some of the firm's mining operations were based in Latin America, though it is unclear if they could expand to Germany following the deal with Northern Data. All I gotta say is this: which stablecoin do you trust the most in this industry? If you had to put some funds into one for whatever reason, is it Tether USDT or Circle's USDC? As you know, I've been giving you warnings regarding Circle's USDC for quite some time, as Max Kaiser has been ringing the alarm on that particular company. So Tether seems like the one to go with. They've been around for the longest amount of time. They opened up shop as well in El Salvador, and they seem to be the most trustworthy. And also, they now have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Shows you they're doing things in the right direction. So with that being shared, fam, now let's break down Bitcoin's next big potential move, according to crypto analyst Credible Crypto. And then I'll be sharing the latest from the Strike CEO, Jack Dorsey, regarding his $1 million Bitcoin price prediction. And also I transcribed his most recent interview talking about Bitcoin with some very insightful thoughts to share with you, and then we'll dive into our live Q&A. So here we go. Here's a prediction. Closely followed crypto strategist is predicting Bitcoin will undergo one more market correction before making a massive move to the upside. Synonymous analyst Credible Crypto tells his 400,000 followers on X, Bitcoin will likely dip down to at least the mid 26 level. Lo and behold, exactly where we're at right now, fam, but remain in an overall upward channel. Quoting him here, corrective structures are typically downward sloping movements that correct or retrace a portion of the prior impulse. Impulse movements are trending moves that advance price in the direction of the trend. This is why sideways corrections after an impulsive move are so bullish, because rather than getting a typical retracement, a lack of sellers and strong demand just moves the price sideways rather than down until the next impulse. This is a sign of strength. You know what's more bullish than that? Listen up. When a corrective structure grinds up and advances the price instead of retracing the prior impulse or going sideways. Now, instead of going sideways, we actually move up, what I like to call vertical accumulation. In this case, a lack of sellers and consistent demand makes the price grind up during the corrections, a time when typically we would expect price to move down or even sideways. So remember, this is technically a corrective move despite how bullish it is moving. So a move down anywhere above the start of the impulse, it it is correcting. The one on the chart I have shown here is still possible. However, I think the only way we'll get there is some extreme volatility and forced selling liquidations to force us down through the active buyers below. All this is to say that the next move up should be explosive, regardless of where the correction ends, whether that be in the mid 26,000s where we're currently at, or even lower if we manage to get some quick liquidations. And he shares this chart, and looking at it, the trader suggests Bitcoin is forming the corrective Elliott wave XYZ pattern, which can cause Bitcoin to decline to the 26.6 to 26.4 range. He also identifies the 28,000 level as a bull market confirmation. So that's the line in the sand. And according to the trader, Bitcoin is showing surprising strength in holding the 27 level of the last few days. Bitcoin's open interest for options retraced after the dip. However, keep in mind, he continues to predict just another quick move down like the last one to shake out some of these recent longs. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. How many of you feel we're likely to retrace some more before an explosive move forward? Or do you think the bears will get caught off guard and we may just explode back to that 30,000 psychological resistance? Let me know your thoughts, fam. And now let's break down our next story of the day, the greatest and latest from the Strike CEO, Jack Dorsey, who's predicting a $1 million Bitcoin price. He recently gave an interview, and I transcribed it. I'm going to be sharing that with you right here. I posted it earlier this morning on X. Here's what Jack Dorsey had to share. Western Union can't allow me to pay for coffee. Visa won't allow me to remit money. Lightning, referring to the Lightning Network, does both and better and open and global. And so you guys come play on my court, and let's see who can develop the best experience for the consumer, because I bet all of my life I can build a better experience on the Lightning Network than Jamie Dimon. Preach. And as we all know, Jamie Dimon is the CEO of the largest banking cartel in the United States, known as JP Morgan Chase. Now, he continues and goes on. The other Jack, referring to Jack Dorsey, and I agree with him, thinks of Bitcoin as the currency of the internet because of similar properties that they retain. The internet has actually similar properties to that of the United States of America. There is a freedom and a pining. There is a freedom of coming and going. Everyone's created equal. There is a system of users with no admins, and so it's a system that is designed to be peer-to-peer. And because of that, there is no natural relationship with a nation state or a corporation. And so it is naturally global and it's natively digital, which makes it incredibly accessible, and it doesn't inherently require systems like trust. And so I think that is why it is the currency of the internet, and more specifically, it is the first ever digital bearer instrument. So bytes of data can represent physical value. And so for something like Stripe, Visa payments and promises of future settlement, and so Stripe doesn't actually offer finality within itself. It forwards along messages of promises. Bitcoin doesn't have an actual issuer. Satoshi Nakamoto even paid for his or her or their Bitcoin with energy. And so it's a commodity-like instrument in the truest and most natural form. And that is a very, very important property that even someone like the SEC is beginning to recognize. So I think the combination of those make Bitcoin tremendously unique. It has a big bang type of effect where theoretically, in my opinion, it is impossible to replicate and retain and achieve the properties that Satoshi Nakamoto did. Preach. Massive shout out to Jack Dorsey. And if you missed the $1 million price prediction when he was speaking on CNBC, Mahler says he is convinced the Bitcoin price will hit $1 million per coin, fueled by global hyperinflation. In fact, quoting him here, there are only two things I can guarantee in this world. Number one, nobody can live forever. And number two, nobody can create more than 21 million Bitcoin. For everything else, there will always be more supply given enough demand. And that is why it's the only two things I truly value in my life, which are my life and Bitcoin. Very powerful words. He also goes on to share, my overall opinion is that the name of the game is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Alts, referring to the altcoins, are interesting, but a lot more speculative. I use them to accumulate more Bitcoins. And also I, transcribed this interview in full where he makes this $1 million price prediction. And he goes on to share, if silver is going to 1,000x, I'll walk into my kitchen right now and I'll melt all of my silverware and sell it at market. If gold is going to rally, Elon Musk will find more on Mars. This is a super important point. Bitcoin is the only monetary instrument in the history of our species that is fixed. It does not matter how much more demand comes into the asset class. No one will ever be able to make more of it. And I also share shared with you his prediction of the 2 things he can guarantee you in his life: that he'll die and there'll only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. So it is the only fixed supply asset. It's not that complicated. It's going to go up because everything else can be issued more. That's right. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin, quoting Max Kaiser. Now, the only thing that is clear to us and clear to our customers is that you cannot hold and save in dollars anymore. Preach. I think there is going to be a new era of the US dollar where inflation will enter and normalize at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. The days of 2% inflation are over. The Fed really blew this thing up. You can call it inflation because the CPI is a load of nonsense, right? Like the government is going to tell me how the dollar is inflating based on a basket of instruments, like my Netflix subscription or my Caesar salad doesn't actually tell me how well the dollar is doing or how much is being devalued. Miami real estate does. Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is up over 50% this year. You're telling me the dollar isn't inflating? You're out of your mind. I am not listening to that. The Fed and the whole monetary system is based on trust, and so they constantly break that trust. It would be the equivalent to there's a fire outside of my house. I smell the smoke, and someone tells me, nah, it's a bunch of teenagers putting on a bonfire. Okay, but I hear a police siren. Are you sure it's a bonfire? Yeah, it's a bonfire. Now I hear 10 sirens. 100 sirens. Now a whole community is running out. I'm not going to get up and look outside the window and see what's going on. I don't believe them for a second. You have to be absolutely crazy to believe the Federal Reserve right now. They are full of it, and I don't have to because I own Bitcoin. There is no one that can deflate my instrument. I get to hold it, saving it. I know the monetary policy. I sleep like a baby, like the baby face that I am. So I think you are crazy to believe the Fed and these swap lines and treating these assets at par because it's a gimmick. It's a scam. So there you have it, fam. Very bold words coming from the Strike CEO, Jack Dorsey. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments right down below. And if you gained value out of today's episode, please smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel, as I greatly appreciate everyone's support. Massive shout out to everyone in the live chat. What's up, McLovin, Ambrosia, MK Still Stacking, Nathan Roth, Ben Silva, Sherry W, Matthew J, Digital Dankness, Cryptic Sniper, What's Poppin', Passive Income with AI, Tim's Crypto, What is good? Good to see you, Melda the Witch, Bitcoin Trini, Andy Surfer, Knox Bill, Coin Father, Ashley, Cutler, What is up? Black Swan, the Don. We got TI in the building. We got Florida in the house. We got Africa in the house. We got people from all over the world. Massive shout out, massive love. Appreciate y'all. Hodl Mike, what is good? Shout out to Hodl Mike 73. Shout out to Barry BTC, repping Holland. Shout out to Sailing with Twins, tuning in from Africa. Shout out to Legends Valley Music Festival. Shout out to Renee Montenegro. Appreciate ya. Calling for an epic crash days away. Let's see if Renee is right. You have been calling for epic crashes for the many years you've been tuned into the show, so we shall soon see. What's up, Jack Jiong, Danky Dank in the building, what up? And that's right, the Clips channel just surpassed 300 subscribers. We just created that channel a couple of weeks ago. If you're not subscribed, feel free to do so, as all the clips from this show are exclusively being uploaded to the Clips channel. I appreciate that. What up? Smashed it. I appreciate those likes. Jack Jiong, what is good? Puerto Rico in the building. You already know. Jack says he bought his first altcoin. He got some XRP and is now 93% Bitcoin and 7% XRP in the portfolio. Baz Dragon, what is poppin'? Shout out to you in the UK. First time listening from Austin, Texas, says Steve Randall. I am pumped to finally catch a live podcast. I appreciate it. How long have you been listening to the pod before attending live? Let me know. Has it been years, months, weeks? Let me know. Bro, I'm in Austin. Not too long ago, I went to downtown Austin, was shocked that it looked worse than LA downtown. Frickin' zombie land. Oh, word? Not everyone is skilled enough to research the altcoins before they buy them, and they have huge risks. So I understand to mitigate risk, Bitcoin is the best bet. But trust me, Jack, I have plenty of alts in my bag, says Dankness. Steve says, yeah, it does. I avoid downtown Austin or the city in general. Poor leadership. Sorry to hear that. Alts are a risky game. Matthew warns us, 100%. Most people most likely to get wrecked as they continue to do so. It's player versus player out here, and in order for someone to win, someone has to lose. If it dies, It dies, says Jack. Let's frickin' go. Robert Brady. Bitcoin outperforms all the altcoins in 3 out of 4 years. You have 0.00001% chance of buying an alt that outperforms Bitcoin. Matthew makes a lot of sense. If you ever do your homework and stand by it, I wish you the best of luck. Let it pump for your sake. Word up. There are 30 alts that outperformed Bitcoin last cycle. Most of them go to zero. The safest way is Bitcoin. Wise words. I'm driving and listening closely. Safe travels there, McLovin. Appreciate that. Watch out for the Asian drivers, McLovin, warns Jack. Yeah, keep stacking them sats as always. I am the best Asian driver, proclaims Jack. Hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you, Tim. Absolutely. Desert greetings, JV. Shout out to Johnny Midas. What up, Reginald Thorne? An asset in search of a purpose. Word. James Elsey on the road from Detroit to Chicago. Shout out Detroit. Shout out to Chicago. A solution looking for the problem. The crypto news alerts give you everything you need to know on a daily basis. Still in touch. Stay ahead. Statwise Jenks tuning in from Scranton, PA. Shout out to PA. September. It seems to be this way, Boz. What else is new? Good afternoon, JV. Shout out to DCA Bitcoin No Alts. What up? Bitcoin sats. Sats are the standard. I like that one, Glenn Coe. Thanks for tuning in. Reginald says CBDCs will undermine its usefulness. It will be 30,000 a year from now. Limited retail potential as on and off ramps become totally controlled. Yeah, I don't trust those CBDCs whatsoever, as we shouldn't trust the central banks, as they haven't earned our trust, nor do they deserve our trust, in my humble opinion. Fam, what are your thoughts? What up, Crypto News Alert stackers? Shout out to the Coin Father. Good to see ya. Lightning is coming down hard in port, and we ain't talking about Bitcoin lightning. You're talking about weather lightning, eh? Tony Jeffries in the building. Shout out from Liverpool. Thank you, Tony Jeffries. Appreciate the support. I'm hearing 2025 serious moves and in the bull stage. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Where are you guys projecting the Bitcoin price likely to reach before the end of this year? This was a question which was asked on yesterday's episode, so I'd love to know your thoughts. I think realistically, probably be in a range between 30 to 40,000. I think the more bullish scenario would put us in a range before the end of the year, around Christmas time, to the 40 to 50 range. However, I am pretty standing by my prediction that in 2024 will be when we reach the all-time high for the cycle, or I should say reaching a new all-time high compared to the previous high that we hit of 69,000 back in 2021. So I think we surpassed 70,000 ultimately next year in 2024. Then I feel personally in 2025, the year preceding the halving, we're likely to hit a multiple six-figure cycle peak for Bitcoin. But what are your thoughts? Please do let me know. We know the stock to flow in Plan B gave us a very wide gap in range of a prediction, predicting somewhere between $100,000 and $1 million per coin. But I'd love to know your thoughts, fam. I'm going to start reading those thoughts out loud. $0 G-Row, what it do, fam? Cutler, welcome. Zap, good morning from Japan. Smashing that like button as always. Thank you. Appreciate that. I am 36, says Cutler. Word up. I'm a short-term hodler looking to be a long-term hodler as the days go by. That's what's up, TI. All it takes to be considered a long-term hodler is hodling your Bitcoin for 5 months or longer. So let's say 6 months or more, which is 183 days out of the year. You can do it, fam. Keep stacking them sats. Hodl for 10 years and you're golden. Sage advice coming from Passive. XRP is going down. It's an anti-CBDC bill, says Matthew. That's what's up. At one point, every long-term hodler started labeled as a short-term hodler. This is facts. Keep your head strong when it gets red. Diamond hands, you already know. XRP to 25 cents, I think, says Passive. Cutler says the same dropped a bunch of money over a halfway to one. Passive, how do you feel about XRP overall? Yo-Yo says stack more sats, and thanks for another banging episode, JV. You're welcome, Yo-Yo. Appreciate the love. Jason Barth says if institutions buy a Bitcoin, obviously hold, and hodlers hold, and regardless or regards how does the network stay strong and the hash high? Is it the mining only or the fees increase? I mean, that's a good question. If everyone hodls, I mean, the network is going to get stronger because the hash rate and difficulty is automatically going to continue to adjust, and it continues outperforming itself. So the network only gets stronger every time we hit new hash rates. And also, like I said, the difficulty is mathematically built in, and it just automatically knows what to do. So it will continuously get stronger, stronger, and stronger as the US dollar is mathematically guaranteed to get weaker and weaker, especially when it comes to purchasing purchasing power, fam. Also, definitely 99% of the ish coins will go to zero, so leaves roughly 200 ish coins trying to be Bitcoin. I mean, there's something like over 30,000 ish coins. They all claim to be Bitcoin, but better. Oh, my ish coin can do everything Bitcoin does, but it's better. How many times have you heard that one before? You know what I mean? You can't make this stuff up. But there was actually a good quote. I want to share it. I think it's on my Twitter regarding, I think Jack Muller shared it. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up because this is very relevant to what we're discussing right here. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is what Rizio, let's see. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but maybe I didn't share it. I saw it earlier on X, but it is all good. Yeah, it's all good. Back to the comments. I was going to mention something, but I couldn't find it. I'm holding XRP, not a lot. Let's see once the bull run starts to offload. Exactly, says Passive. Gemini stablecoin may be an option on their platform. BCH has a better chance. We're talking about Bitcoin Cash. 1 million Bitcoin, let's freaking go. Send it. Sats are my only stablecoin. That's what's up. Love to hear that. Bitcoin is the only stablecoin not co-opted by fiat. We already know fiat is bleeding a slow death to zero. Bitcoin is the way. Preach. Let is dropped to 20,000 or more Bitcoin for me. Bitcoin is the way, the truth, and the life. Preach, Coin Father. Great show, says Ashley. Appreciate all you do. Very welcome, Ashley. Thank you for tuning in. Bitcoin Srini, what's up? Bear hunting season starts soon. Word up. Get your hunting rifles ready, right? Crypto News Alert stackers. I got to keep my gym goals on schedule. Well, keep your gym goals on schedule, Coin Father. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you tuning in and taking care of your health. What good is health without wealth? You know what I mean? Or what good is wealth without health? Made it home safe. Glad to hear, McLovin. Yeah, he was referring to Stripe as one of the largest merchants. He wasn't referring to his company Strike. There is a difference. Stripe is one of the largest merchants out there for accepting payments, and that's what he was talking about when he was comparing it to Visa, etc. It is what it is. Yeah, let's go silver and gold. Are you bullish on silver and gold, Passive? The reason I'm not bullish on silver or gold is because the market is completely manipulated, and it's no secret. JP Morgan Chase has had to pay hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fines. Their most recent one was over $900 million fine for getting caught spoofing the precious metal market, which means creating fake orders to ultimately manipulate the price and bring the price down. Precious metals undermine the US dollar, and it's not in the central bank or the money printer controller's best interest to have a gold price continuing to go up against the US dollar, because if it did, everyone would simply remove their money out of the banks that is in the Ponzi fiat scheme, and they'd all put it into the gold Ponzi fiat scheme. It's all a part of the same matrix Ponzi scheme. Just saying. Now, who's the biggest hoarder of gold? Probably the central banks of the world. They have been hoarding gold for centuries. Now, gold can be confiscated, obviously, from you. It can be taken away. You ever try to travel with gold? If you try traveling with the gold bar, most then likely they're going to take it from you because the value exceeds $10,000. The only way to travel with mass amounts of gold is if you have one of those rapper Nipsey Hussle type chains. You could probably have a chain worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and because it's jewelry, they won't confiscate it from you. But if it's in the form of a gold bar, adios, amigos. They're going to be taking that from you, guaranteed. So Bitcoin has all the incentives that gold offers, but 100x superior in every sense of the way. That's why you got Michael Saylor projecting that the Bitcoin market cap 10x that of gold. The current gold market cap is sitting roughly at 10 trillion. So Michael Saylor is ultimately saying, expect the Bitcoin market cap to reach $100 trillion. He also expresses that the total addressable market is north of $700 trillion. And he projects that we can realistically see a $5 million Bitcoin price. You know what I mean? Just from that total addressable market, being able to invest into Bitcoin via the spot Bitcoin ETF in the United States, which we all know is only months away. I think the next time the SEC has to make a decision on that is October. More than likely, they're probably going to push it back until next year and then have to decide accordingly, as they can only push it back for so long. They have been turning down all spot ETFs in the United States for Bitcoin over the past decade. The very first one was submitted by the Winklevoss twins, owner of the Gemini Exchange. And since then, denied until BlackRock came along. And we all know the power of BlackRock being a $10 trillion asset manager, that the SEC rarely says no to BlackRock. In fact, the track record is like 575 times that the SEC approved a BlackRock application for an ETF and only denied them one time out of 575 times. You run the math, it goes to show you that a spot ETF in the United States is inevitable and only a matter of time. Where do you think the Bitcoin price action will likely go once they get the approval from the regulators in the United States? And when Gary Gensler finally has to say, all right, we accept it, then it's going to create what we call game theory in this crypto sphere. The game theory is competition. There's already a dozen major institutions on the sidelines right now who have already also submitted an application just around that time that BlackRock did for the spot Bitcoin ETF. You got ARC21, that's Cathie Wood's company. She says she gets first dibs because her request was in before BlackRock. You also got Grayscale. We know the GBTC product, which is the largest holder of Bitcoin in the world. They control over 600,000 BTC. So that's a pretty big deal. And then you have the likes of BlackRock. They're going to have to hold the underlying asset if they're going to be offering the spot Bitcoin ETF. We currently have less than 2 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. So we can anticipate a realistic supply shock at a level we have never witnessed before the previous halvings. Because not only do we have the halving event less than 6 months out, scheduled to be in April of 2024, we also have the spot Bitcoin ETF. If we get that green light from the SEC, game on. Expect trillions to usher into the market. Right now, Bitcoin is still a pup. If you really think about it, $500 billion market cap is nothing. Elon Musk almost has that amount of wealth. He's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, for Christ's sake. So could you imagine a $10 trillion asset manager mass accumulating BTC, buying it all up from the exchanges, leaving nothing, right? That's going to drive the prices up because you have true scarcity. Bitcoin has that finite limited supply, and then you got the massive demand. You put those two together, basic stock to flow. Hence why they're predicting a $100,000 to $1 million price action post 24 halving. But let me know how you feel, fam, and I'll read those thoughts out loud. Greetings from Mexico. Shout out to German Bahina. I got some of my best friends living in Mexico. Much love. Bitcoin will retrace under 20,000 again and game over, says 5G. I'm not anticipating it, but if it does, wouldn't that be a great opportunity to stack sats? I think so. Bitcoin or slavery? There's only one that is decentralized with no leader or corporation that can be coerced. 100% exactly what Matthew said. Shout out to Matthew. Felix Hopkins, hello from London. What it do, fam? With Sun Tzu's wisdom in mind, stating all wars deception, should we scrutinize the regulatory efforts surrounding cryptocurrencies as a veiled war on our pursuit of freedom? Sage question, Dankness, which would require some thought there. I mean, it is obviously changing the game. I mean, the art of war on our pursuit of freedom. We know that we are enslaved through money. Whoever controls the money supply controls the people. They've been controlling the money supply for quite some time and doing things that aren't in our best interest as a people, but obviously the controllers of the world. Bitcoin absolutely will change the game, as it already has. It's going to hold the powers that be accountable for their corruption. And, you know, they can just say, oh, trillions of dollars are missing. We don't know where it went. Kind of like they pulled after 9/11 with the Pentagon. They shot a missile, you know what I mean, at the Pentagon, pretended it was an airplane, and then all of the records of the record keeping was destroyed. Well, you can't shoot a missile at the blockchain and hope to destroy all the financial records so you can get away with your crimes. So it's a complete game changer. So know thy enemy. Shout out to Sun Tzu and the Art of War. Classic fam. CBDUSD is already here, and meaning over 83% transactions are digital. So slowly and eventually they will stop printing US dollars and it'll be all digital. Let's see if it is built on the blockchain later for a CBDC. Good insights there, Coin Father. It's an exponential algorithm, says $0G row. Word up. Coin Market Cap says there are now 1.8 million cryptos, way more than 30,000. Good Lord, I'm behind on the times. 1.8 million cryptos. That means there's 1.79999% Scam coins, just saying. Not your keys, not your cheese. Thanks for the reminder, Felix. Finally caught the live. Love you, Crypto News Alerts. Watch every day. Thank you, Matt B. It means the world to me. The mods are doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Digital Dankness. Shout out to Bitcoin Maximus and the fam. Jason Bit March. Great show, JV. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. The passive income, according to the Hamilton Project, led by the USA Fed, that is the way they are going into the future. Keep stacking them stats. Word. More women need to get into crypto. It is just a lot of sausages. Nostalgic. I mean, you're preaching fact. This is a fact. According to my YouTube analytics, only 7% of my audience is women, which means practically 93% are men. I would love more women adoption, but I also think you attract who you are. So naturally, we're going to attract more gentlemen to the show, considering I'm a gentleman. Just saying. But yeah, I would love more female adoption. I think that would be fantastic, especially considering they control retail, as what's his name? Tim Draper has pointed out numerous occasions. I am bearish on gold. Don't see the catalyst. Last catalyst were the ETF, drove the price from 2004 to 2011, dead since. And also, in comparing, once you got the gold ETF, the ETF went through the roof. That's without a asset, or I should say commodity like Bitcoin, which there is a finite limited supply. There's never been an ETF in history with a scarceness like Bitcoin, having that definitive market cap, you know what I mean? Or limited supply. Because gold, they can always introduce more gold into the market to manipulate the prices as we see each and every year. You know what I mean? So it's truly not as scarce as they like to make us believe that it is. I use small amounts of gold for a store of value. All my gold is jewelry, just saying. 5 million per coin would be $105 trillion market cap. I mean, anything is possible. Send it. Let's go. Fidelity sucks, says Mike. Well, they are the second largest asset manager in the world, currently controlling over $4.5 trillion in assets under management. And also, they started accumulating and mining Bitcoin all the way back in 2014. That's like what? Like almost a decade ago. So how long has BlackRock really secretly been accumulating Bitcoin and bullish behind the scenes? That's a great question, right? I saw a chart of gold versus the M2 money supply today, and the last time gold was in the positive was in the 1980s. Good Lord. Imagine sucking the exchanges dry. I can see it already, Baller Bill. Not impossible, just needs the government to keep printing the dollar into being worthless than a peso. Check it out. I made an agreement for deed in 2007. The buyer wants to know if I will accept Bitcoin for early payoff. I said yes. Score. Word up. Jack Mallers is inspiring, as is this podcast. Thank you, Melda. I'm a huge fan of Jack Mallers, and check out his podcast as well. It's fantastic. Would you feel safe in Mexico as Bitcoin millionaire, JV? I would. I mean, Ricardo Salinas is the third richest man in Mexico. He's been bullish on Bitcoin since Max Kaiser orange pilled him in 2014. So if it's good enough for Ricardo Salinas, I think it's good enough for me. Also, I know many millionaires who choose to live in Mexico, and they have the option to live anywhere in the world. They're not naturally from Mexico. They're from the United States. So yeah, Mexico is definitely a good place to look into for sure. I think overall it may even be safer than the United States, because the United States ain't that safe. Just saying. Look at the major cities. Crime rampant. I agree with Dankness. No disrespect. The movement has to occur to flush the world's money into it and make it go boom. Truth, says Steve. Matthew just needs adoption from the normies. Only 4 million daily active users now. 4.5 billion internet users. That's 100x. 100 trillion market cap is 200x. Just need to double the monetary supply. Word up. It's a different world today, says Passive. Matthew, less than 20 years, Bitcoin will be $5 million a coin. Facts. It's inevitable. Only a matter of time. Hyper Viper, what'd it do? What's good? Great points. I always keep a small bag. Small, though, compared to my Sats bag. Passive, I remember selling my old Subaru for $5,000 and someone gave me 0.75 Bitcoin for it. I feel bad. The engine burned oil. That's hilarious. Shout out to Sun Tzu and the Art of War. Word up. One Glencoe, I'm writing down my quick claim deed for this transaction. Word. Women will adopt it when they shop with it. Good point, Tim's Crypto. The women are coming to BTC. Melda shares. Yes, bring all your friends. Get them in. Let's go. Yes, we want more women, says Passive. Going to be a fun ride, says Baller Bill. Get those sats while you still can. I welcome them wholeheartedly. Amen. My parents have have a vacation home in Mexico. Yeah, that's what's up. I should move there, says Chris. Jesse Ventura spends half the year in Mexico when not in Minnesota. Good to note. I miss him and his show, Conspiracy Theory. They had some of the best episodes. That was like over a decade ago, but nonetheless, good stuff. How many of you actually watched that besides me? Let me know. Could Bitcoin price exceeding 250,000 accelerate the development and implementation of blockchain-based financial instruments? I mean, absolutely. It will continue to outpace to the point that the banks have to, change everything. You can't beat them, join them. I think banks will all be accepting Bitcoin as a product. And as Michael Saylor predicted, you'll be able to borrow against your Bitcoin through the bank and it'll be FDIC insured, making it no logic, no reason to ever want to sell your Bitcoin. It'll just make no sense whatsoever when you can just borrow against it and have the most perfect form of pristine money and collateral, which is BTC. Facts. Great question. Ambrosia, the one with Alex Jones. I mean, Alex is legendary. I miss this dude. Alex, where you at? Let's get Alex on the show. Who wants to see an Alex Jones or Jesse Ventura interview on Crypto News Alerts? Wouldn't that be something? Did you know that Max Kaiser gifted Alex Jones 10,000 BTC? This was like, I don't know the year. I'm going to speculate like back in 2014. Bitcoin wasn't nowhere where it is in value today. And that fortune would now be worth hundreds of millions of dollars for Alex Jones. But that's the type of guy Max is. He is a true homie. I mean, he also gifted Russell Brand 1,000 BTC back in 2014. How many guys you know running around just handing people thousands of BTC? Max is the only guy. Hence, he is the high priest of Bitcoin. Much love and much respect to Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert. They've been touting Bitcoin since 2011, back when it was less than $10 per coin via the Kaiser Report. And they are the very first ones that brought Bitcoin into the international spotlight on TV via the Kaiser Report. And lo and behold, what did YouTube do? They banned the Kaiser Report from YouTube, so you can't even find it anymore. Yeah, you can find clips here and there, but what a damn sham that is. So, I mean, it is what it is, but that sucks. Ricardo says delusional. What's delusional, yo? Alex Jones, says Steve. Damn, says Passive, send some my way. I hope Russell Brand saves those for his legal defense. I mean, isn't it crazy what we're witnessing in this crazy world? Stat-wise, great show. Jesse Ventura for VP under Kennedy Jr. Word up. Wouldn't that be something? I would personally like to see Tucker Carlson run for president. I think he has a good shot considering his episodes are now getting hundreds of millions of viewers per show. When he was on Fox, Elon Musk shared like a screenshot. When he was on Fox, Tucker was getting roughly 3 million viewers on an episode. He left and then he started getting 100 million plus viewers on X. And now his most recent episode he did when he went to Buenos Aires to interview Javier Milei, pro-presidential candidate of Argentina, who is most likely going to win as he's currently leading the polls in their country, and people are ready for change. They're sick and tired of the central bank shenanigans they're witnessing, you know what I mean, with hyperinflation of the Argentine peso and all that nonsense. So anyways, long story short, that interview got over 400 million viewers in 48 hours. That's unheard of. I've never heard of that. I think that is the best growth in an interview in history of interviews. I've never seen an interview get more views, and that can be trending towards 1 billion. So it just goes to show you when you have that type of popularity and the people trust you, right? You could win. I think the presidential race is all about popularity. We saw that with Trump. Trump was, way more popular than all of his competition. He destroyed, everyone else in the polls, including Hillary, when he initially became president. And then we know the last election, was it 2021? 2020, right? Yeah, a few years ago. They claim that Biden got more votes than Trump, which is physically impossible. Anytime they showed like a Biden rally, they would like copy paste people into the crowds to try to make it seem like people actually cared about what this man had to say. But lo and behold, Biden won the presidency. Trump didn't become president, clearly had more votes. So it just goes to show you how much of a scam the system is. And what if the voting system was on the blockchain and they made it impossible to create fake votes? That would be a game changer, wouldn't you think? And that's one of many ways that blockchain blockchain technology can disrupt the, presidential elections moving forward. Are we going to expect that in this next year, 2024? Probably not. It's probably going to be more corrupt voting practices, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. I hope a pro-Bitcoin presidential candidate wins. Obviously, the two biggest running mates that are pro-Bitcoin right now is DeSantis, who is running as a Republican. He says he is anti-CBDC and pro-Bitcoin. And we also have Kennedy Jr. running as a Democrat, who says he is pro-Bitcoin and anti-CBDC. In fact, he says if he wins the presidential election, he would want to back the dollar with Bitcoin to make it more stable, which is an interesting food for thought, wouldn't you say? So it's going to be an interesting presidential season here around the corner. And of course, we also have the Bitcoin halving, which happens at around the time of the presidential election, which makes things even more interesting. You know what I mean? Crypto world, what's up? That would be awesome. Tucker and RFK. Yeah, I mean, why not? I trust Tucker more than a lot of these politicians, I'll say that much. Max gifted lots of laptops loaded with Bitcoin to friends. One person lost or threw away theirs. So they claim. Yeah, Alex claims it was on a laptop and it ended up in a dump. I just don't see Alex as a stupid person. I look at him as a genius. You know what I mean? I think he is very smart. And if someone gifted him X amount, 10,000 Bitcoin, he has it, and he don't want to claim it, maybe because there's people going after him for billions of dollars of debt, which we all know. So I would say smart man versus stupid man, in my humble opinion. But what are your thoughts, fam? Anyways, now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. We broke down the latest technical analysis with the Bitcoin price dismissing the FOMC and Mt. Gox with sitting at 26,600 on this current dip. We also discussed the latest with the Bitcoin price action and short-term hodlers in panic mode amid nearly 100% unrealized losses, as is the short-term hodlers, who typically are the ones getting wrecked. We also discussed the U.S. anti-CBDC bill moving a step closer to passing, which is a good look. So shout out to everyone in Congress in support of this bill. We also discussed the latest with Tether USDT acquiring a stake in Bitcoin miner Northern Data, hinting at an artificial intelligence collaboration. Let's go. We also discussed Bitcoin's next move up will be explosive, says crypto analyst Credible Crypto, but that there is also a catch. We could first, drop to lower levels. And we also discussed the latest from the Strike CEO, Jack Dorsey, predicting a $1 million Bitcoin price action. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments below. And if you gain value out of today's show, smash that like button and drop a comment right down below. And I look forward to seeing you.